Welcome back to another episode of Proper Punters. I'm here with professional punter Aaron Mace and ex-jockey Glyn Schofield. Guys, how are we? Glyn, it looks like you're trying to get with the times every single week.
Every time I come in here, you got some bloke with a hat on sideways and fucking all. I thought, well, I'll just...
I reckon if we put a balaclava on, he'd look handsome.
Well, I think that's what we're going to get
Fuck,
next
that's
week.
coming from you.
He's already going
Says
in
him
that
with a
direction.
comb over. He gets an iron out and irons his hair flat before he comes to the show. Look at him.
How are we going? How's the weekend?
Weekend was all right.
The week's been better, though, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Through the week.
Yeah, it's been a good week.
You've been going quite well in the tipping as well on the Discord?
Yes. Look, I think predominantly I've always preferred
Is that a
spring.
big word for you,
Spring.
predominantly?
Yeah, it was.
Do you know how to spell it?
No. Here he goes, put me on show. Nor
do I.
I usually look forward to the spring, and then the autumns can be sometimes hit and miss, but we had a really good autumn. We had, I don't know if it was luck or what it was, but week after week we kept it producing, so that was great. And then, like, we've had this disastrous weather hit and probably had a slightly quiet 2 weeks, and then I've just started to feel it again. And, yeah, the last 2 days have been really good.
Well, if you're in Sydney, you can tell just by what we're wearing that the weather is just absolutely horrendous at the moment.
It changed, and it changed very fast.
Fucking shitloads of rain as well for the weekend.
Do you think that we're in for a big weekend at Hawkesbury with the weather?
Well, Glyn, you'd know this. Hawkesbury, really good wet weather track.
Yeah. Great track. The ambulance gets stuck. The barriers get stuck. I remember one day we were stuck at the barriers got stuck on the track when they were moving them between races, and then the stewards come in and say to all the jocks, "Well, get ready because as soon as the barriers are unstuck, you're going out to race."
Unreal. And I swear almost every one of these meetings there's a patron that goes down and we have to wait for an ambulance. It's just always
Someone has a
happens.
heart attack or something.
Oh, something happens. It's like you're waiting, you're betting, you sit there and you've watched market moves. Next minute, like, where are the horses? Oh, we've got a delay. Patron down. Order more ambulances for Hawkesbury, please.
We'll talk about Hawkesbury in a second. Let's touch on the bets from last week. Aaron, Martini Mama obviously coming first on the weekend, which was nice. You also had Kazoo coming third. So not bad from you this weekend.
Yeah, the market was able to tell the tale with Kazoo. But Martini Mama, yeah, she's just a horse that keeps going from strength to strength.
Yeah, looking really good at the moment. Glyn, hedged, come third as well.
Close. Yeah.
Not too much bet luck with the other legs though, but
No.
that's all right.
As I said, I think if you get that little hangover period at the end of the card. Like for me, last weekend was hangover week. It was championships are over. We kind of moved to Hawkesbury. It's a shame that the rain, because this track is a lot better than what it used to be.
Yeah, it has. Look,
this
can't
track,
bag it too much. I mean,
I used to hate betting at Hawkesbury, but it's actually turned into a track I don't mind.
I thought you were talking about hangover week just because after Anzac Day would have been a big one.
Hangover week's every second day sometimes for me at the moment. I'm just
you went missing for 3 days, didn't you?
Yeah.
we won't share some of the stories on here. We'll probably keep that between us. Let's get into this week of racing. Race 5, the Hawkesbury 4X Gold Rush. Spacewalk comes into this race with a 70% place rate at the moment. Is this a horse you have your eyes on, Glyn?
Yeah, look, okay, so I've done a bit of form, presuming it's going to be a pretty wet track. He's got the best form out of all the runners in the race. I reckon he's performed in Group 1 races. He's obviously carrying top weight, 59 kilos. He's handled wet ground before. I think he's 2 starts, 1 win and a placing in heavy ground, so he ticks those boxes.
And being drawn out like there's probably a positive.
I think
the
rail,
track is bottomless.
Yeah, if the track's soft or rain affected, the rail certainly is not the place to be.
They usually come down that outside fence when it gets heavy.
When it gets really heavy, outside runners.
Late in the day.
So yeah, like I like Spacewalk in the race. I must be honest.
Mace, your horse that you're keen on is Parasail. It's the favourite at the moment at around the 420 mark. Talk about this horse.
I just love both trials. I think we spoke about when we were doing the carnival. The blue horses had barring Melbourne.
So they're stablemates, Parasail and
they're stablemates.
Yeah.
But overall, the blue horses were, I thought, pretty quiet overall. Probably, and at the end of the carnival, they were coming good. I've noticed just in starting to get right back into the trials and having a look. I don't know if they're getting ready for Queensland Carnival or what it is, but a lot of the blue horses are trialling really well again. Yeah. I don't know if they had a virus that went through early or what's happened, but the blue horses definitely look. So, look, I'm with Glyn in the fact of I think Spacewalk, huge chance. Another horse I was interested in was Dual. Not sure how he will handle the wet. Bred too. But yeah, Paracel was the horse I came through on top. He's placed in the heavies, one in the soft. Both trials were exceptionally well. Has some form to Magic Time last prep, Espiona, General Bow. It's going to make his own luck. And I think Zachy Lloyd's starting to ride well again. Yeah, I'm sticking with the top there. But as one thing I will say, if this track does get heavy, I will be betting with very minimal confidence.
Yeah, if it doesn't come up too heavy, my original pick, if the track was just on just even, just slightly soft, would have been Extravagant Star. She since she won a $2 million Inglis 2-year-old race. She was very dominant, and then she had her worst run was on heavy ground.
Yeah,
she's since changed stables from McAvoy's to Kieran Maher, and she went up to Brisbane the other day and won. She's back. She's drawn soft. She's dropping a lot in weight, so she's not without a chance. But I think if it rains and it's really wet, I think it's going to be difficult for her to change her form.
In her last 5 starts, she's actually won 4 of them at this distance as well.
Yeah.
So some good form at this distance, Mace.
Yeah. No, she's going good since joining new stable.
Yep. Any other horses we're keen on in this one?
I think a horse that's actually performed really well, Facile. Her last win was pretty good on the heavy 8 at Randwick. She's a filly in form, and she likes the wet. Makes her own luck up there on the pace. She's probably one of the key chances down in the weights.
Give a little bit of a chance to much better. He's resuming, and won a trial by out at Wyong. Look, he's a horse that rolls along, makes his own luck. If he gets out there, he's fresh. He handles the wet ground, so he might be something to hang on to a leading position, at odds as well.
And Cannonball, number 2, in its last 8 starts, 3 wins, 2 thirds as well.
He's got a gear change. He's got a barrier blanket on, which means he's fractious in the barriers. He's a very quick horse. Sometimes the wet ground can negate their speed. But he's a horse that's got a lot of ability. They've kept him as a colt. Obviously, they've got aspirations to win a good race with him, and he hasn't quite done that yet. He's been close a couple of times.
I'm tipping he'll be scratched.
Yeah, he hasn't got any wet track form.
He's had 4 starts in the soft for absolutely nothing. I think they'll be putting him away. The fact that they do have Barry Blanket, they got the blinkers on first time, was a great show of intent. I think he's tried reasonably good. I think wherever he does go around, he'll probably be a chance, but I don't think... I'll be surprised if they run him Saturday.
All right. Well, any other horses you want to talk about? Or should we go to the next one?
No, that's enough for me.
Let's go to the next.
All right. Race 7, the Workers Club Group Hawkesbury Guineas. Schwartz is obviously the favourite heading into this race. However, Zadaki has been placed in the top 3 in its last 5 starts, going 3rd, 2nd, 2nd, 1st, 1st. Is that a horse you're considering in this one? Mace?
Start with you, Glyn.
Well, let's start off with Schwartz. I reckon he was desperately unlucky his last start. He was up the worst part of the track, up the fence. He got sort of half put up the rail shortly after coming over the rise. He's drawn soft again. I think J-Max, the master of getting them off the fence and getting them into the clear air, which didn't quite happen for him last time. I think he's going to be mightily hard to beat, to be honest.
I'm actually a little bit keen on this race, depending on how wet it gets. If it doesn't get too wet, I think he's a massive chance. You go back, look at his run. He got bounced on the fence a heap last start. Mm-hmm. And if you actually go and watch the Stewards footage, he had absolutely no room in building his revs. He's in a horse that has an incredible turn of foot. He builds his revs. And in that vital part where he was trying to make ground, he couldn't. And then when he actually finally gets free in that last 250, he does make up a little bit of ground, which was the inferior, as Glyn said, the inferior part of the track. He gets up to 1400. His win over 1400 down in Flemington, he absolutely brained him. He'll get on pace. I think he's one of those 1400-metre horses that does his best work when he does control up on front. I think he'll roll here, depending on how wet it gets and if he handles it. He's one of the key chances.
One horse, I'll tell you, that absolutely gobbled up the wet ground the other when it won at Randwick, won the James Kyle, is number 7, Kona Sana.
It was the horse I was going to next.
Yeah.
I almost had this down as a 2-horse race. I think it's Schwartz and Konasana. Yeah. It's a race I'll probably be betting in. I'm happy to back both. I think you can get around the $7 to $8 Konasana. Didn't go around the horse, but fuck, the way that horse was able to accelerate
On wet ground, yeah.
like that is a genuine wet tracker. If it gets heavy, it's the bet. I think it will probably half its odds or go close to halving its odds in the wet.
The more it rains, the more it shortens.
I think if you think it's going to wet, yeah, I'd probably be backing it now. I'd be getting on early.
Well, Conasana actually, in its last 2 races, this distance has won 1. So it's got that 50% win record at the moment at this distance. So definitely one to consider for sure. What else are we thinking in this race? Any other horses?
Nothing for me.
Glyn?
Nothing for Aaron. Kim Waugh's horses are absolutely flying at the moment. But Jangles, I know he's probably a little bit out. I shouldn't say outclassed, but
Well, no, he's certainly. Funnily enough, we were on him last start. I think we tipped him when
and
he
another
won.
horse, talk about another horse that's been good to your followers in the Discord. Is Panic. I remember you tipped him.
I don't want to talk about Panic. It was last start was the only start I wasn't on the.
Yeah,
We declared it first up when it won at I think about 6-4.
You panicking about Panic, are you?
I was when it won at $16. Yes, there was a few F bombs that got.
There's been horses
It's won
you
4
followed
races.
everywhere.
It's won 4 races, and that was the only time I wasn't on it. So I can't complain. He's been a really good horse to me, but I was a little bit disappointed in the way that he won first up. But going up to the 1400 definitely suits. He's definitely a chance in this race. But I'm keen to back Schwartz, and if it does get heavy, I'll be having a very good bet on Castana.
So any thoughts on my friend number 3 here, Zadaki? Obviously threw you some stats at you to start.
You did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you've been doing your form,
stats, man.
Oh.
No, I don't want to be on him here.
No,
Okay.
Glyn,
Happy
no?
to bet against.
Right.
All right, go on to the next race then.
Let's go.
All right, race 8, the Richmond Club Hawkesbury Gold Cup. Definator Jack is the favourite.
Detonator, Jane.
Detonator there, that's right. Now, I've seen a lot of nuggets in my time playing rugby league, but this one has the best striking distance at 1,600 metres, winning 6 of its last 15 starts at this distance as well.
He could have won 2 Doncasters, this horse. He's been placed in the last 2. He's been beaten under a length in both of the races.
Yep.
If you combine his losing margin. He gobbles up wet ground. Comes out of a stable that's just winning for fun at the moment. Of course, he's stablemate to Detonator Jack. And I think Kieran's got 1, 2, 3, 4... 4 runners in the race? He's becoming a bit like a Chris Waller. He's got multiple runners everywhere.
Well, you took the words out. Is he quickly becoming the next Chris Waller?
Well, Chris Waller's going nowhere.
Yeah, I understand. He's still there.
Still around.
I know, and he's still...
The big stables are just dominating everything at the moment.
It's definitely a growing stable, and he's just winning more and more big races, isn't he?
Yep.
He's an incredible trainer.
Well, talking about Chris Waller, he's got a horse that I've got a lot of respect for in this race is Wellwall. I think last year we tipped him when he won. I think he was just looking for a track with a bit of cut in it. He found a track with a bit of cut in it. I think he won. I think he was tipped through the show or through the group. If you're not on the group, you should join it. Look, it's a high quality race. This there's certainly a handful of horses that can win. Jojo was a man that's trialled enormously. I mean, he's first up, but he's one that certainly did trial really, really well at Warwick Farm. What else can you think, Aaron?
It's a tricky race because I wanted to be with the form out of the Doncaster, but there was multiple good runners in the Doncaster. Yeah. Detonator Jack is a horse performed extremely well in the wet. Will have to lug the 59 kilos, but I think he's racing extremely well. Berkshire Shadow, even though he's ran 14th, he's been beaten 3.8. If you watch him, he looked like he was actually travelling better than Nugget. He was going better than Nugget, and he just found more asses.
He had a wall of horses in front of him, but he didn't have any momentum taken away, but he just didn't get any momentum because he had nowhere to go.
Yep.
So, he's another one.
Another one that's trolled all right. It's got the blinkers on, probably be scratched as a tractable. I think I'll probably wait for a dry day as he's never performed in the dry track. Yeah, another even like Palmetto. There's just so many, and it's got unbelievable wet track form. Trial between runs has been really good. I can see this running a cheeky race.
Madame Pomery, she won the 1,000 guineas on a heavy track.
Yeah, on a bog
So
track.
she's a Group 1 winner. She's drawn one. She's got 54 kilos. Barrier 1 is a bit of a concern, but when she won the Caulfield Guineas, the 1,000 guineas at Caulfield, I should say, she was on the fence. Everybody was scooting out wide, and she just went straight down the inside of the field and won. So she certainly handles conditions. A lot to like about her too.
If gun to my head, I would have 2 flea bets on Palmetto and Wellwall.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's finish off moving to Eagle Farm with race 8, the UNU Recruitment Victory Stakes. Who are we thinking about in this race?
This is a lead up into the Dubin 10,000, which
Correct.
is in 2 weeks' time. So the Brisbane Carnival is just around the corner, really. You can see a lot of the Sydney riders are already up there for this weekend. It looks like, well, Golden Miles entered in this race as well. I'm presuming he's going to run in Sydney. But Uncommon James has got the best form going into this race by far. Front Pages obviously was just beating the shadows of the post the other day. He went really quick. But I think a fresh Antino, you know what you're going to get with him. You're going to get a really, really solid run.
Well, he's a very high quality horse. He had a lot of bad luck last prep.
Last prep, he could have won 3 races and I think he won 1.
Yeah.
He travelled down to Melbourne for the carnival. And
He just had absolutely no luck or pretty much all preparation last prep. Completely agree that Uncommon James got the best form in the race. Hasn't won for a while, but this is by far probably the easiest test that he's had in a long time. Probably leaning his way on top. Want to make mention of the horse. We tipped it on the show. I tipped us real keen on it last start at the each way basis. Wee Nessie.
Yeah.
So
Did win well.
yes, she won Group 2 against the girls. This looks to be a big step up. But in saying that, the run that I tipped it off was the run to Chain of Lightning, which is a Group 1 winner, TJ. So the form...
It was the race before that.
It was the race before that,
yeah.
but it still gives that form line of finishing close to a horse that's of genuine Group 1 quality now.
Yeah.
Like they do say with mares in form, she's...
Well, Uncommon James got form behind probably the best sprinter in Australia at the moment. That's
Well, they're the two. I'm going top and bottom. I'm probably going to back both for me in the race. I think that's my play. Back the top one and back the bottom one.
Well, yeah, Wee Nessie, in terms of a place record, is in the top 3 for this race, 68.75% of its races in the top 3. So definitely one to consider there for the punters.
She's definitely up and coming horse. Flying at the moment. Absolutely. Love the whole mare in form.
All right, well, Aaron, I'll start with you, mate. What's your best bet?
We're kicking off in the first. I'm going with Media World. Race 1, number 4, Media World. Ran a really nice second to up-and-coming horse in Smashing Time. Boxed on. I think finds a slightly easier race, even though it's gone from kind of provincial grade to city. I think this is easier compared to that last race. I think there's a couple of nice horses in that race. Moving along to race 3, Gentilishi. She is a horse that just does not stop winning. I think she could end up being a horse that's got black type ability, and I think she'll be winning here. Race 5, number 4, Parasol. I think Troll Super rolls forward, makes his own luck, and will be there. And in the last, kicking off in the last, hopefully kick off with one last winner, Chili Philly, race 10, number 11, Chris Lee's little filly. Trolled twice, good form last prep. Just love the way it hit the line. Think looks value around the 450 mark.
Nice. Glyn, what about you,
I'm going
mate?
to start off in race 1 at Hawkesbury in the 2-year-old race. This horse of Robert and Luke Price is called Monty VB, I should say. Ran second on debut. Interestingly, they brought it into the city to trial. They trained down at Kembla. Brought it into the city to trial. And Tommy Berry rode it and was pretty well held in the trial. And then went to a Canterbury race first up. And it looked like it was going to run 4th or 5th dropping back as soon as Hieronymus popped it to the outside of runners, it just launched and ran second. So it's going to take a lot of benefit out of that run, and I think it will be very, very hard to beat. My next one comes in race 9 at Hawkesbury, and I'm going with number 4, Kaboo. This horse, don't worry where it's drawn. It's one of Gay's horses. It's just going to jump and go straight forward. It loves wet ground. It's coming off a really strong trial win, and of course, if the track's wet, you're going to need a fit horse, and there's no better trainer to get them ready first up than Gay and Adrian. And my last one is in the Guineas in Brisbane at Eagle Farm. That's race 9, number 11, Press Link. Look, he tasted defeat for the first time in a listed or group race last start. He was hitting the line strong. He looks like he's ready for a mile now. And I'm tipping that he's going to be one of the stars for the upcoming carnival in Brisbane.
Perfect. We'll go with you first this time for the Saturday double. Who do you think is going to run in the top 2?
Yeah, top 2. I'm going Spacewalk in the sprint race, race 5 at Hawkesbury.
Perfect. Mace, what about you, mate?
I'm sticking with race 3, number 9, Gentle Ishi. I think she's probably one of the best bets on the card. This is just a horse that's flying and will just keep winning.
Perfect. Now, all of these bets are under the BTFU hub in CrossBet, so make sure, if you haven't already, download the CrossBet app and go straight to the BTFU hub. You can put all these bets on in one click, just like my one. Obviously, with the NRL, my best bet for the weekend was the Sharks, the Roosters, and the Melbourne Storm to get up. So make sure, if you haven't already, download the CrossBet app, go straight to the BTFU hub, and you can lock in all of those bets. You can also join the Discord now as well. We've got plenty of exclusive tips, punts. Aaron's been very successful with those as well. So make sure you go ahead and join the Discord if you haven't already. If you need any help joining the Discord as well, make sure to contact myself, Mace, or one of the admins of the WhatsApp if you're still in the WhatsApp chat. Lads, very good to have you on again this week.
Great stuff.
Thank you, lads.
What are you prepared to lose today? Set a deposit limit. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.